Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We'll be working on another project today. Maybe you just watched the fuel pump redo. Took the globe off. It's still sitting in the warehouse. I haven't made a space for it in the shop yet. But anyways, maybe you noticed at the beginning of that video, we were kind of foreshadowing what next project is. We've got a lot of projects on the go here. We've got a trike over here. It's a DeSoto. It's electric. We're going to be updating that to a 48 volt system with an id hub motor. So that's going to be a fun little project. We've got a go-kart back here. Kind of a cool little project. We're going to be painting that and doing a little body work on it, decaling it up and doing some things like that with it. And it's actually going to go up on a signpost. Just shop decor. So we've of course got stuff going on over here. So anyways, I say that to lead up to this. What is this? This is a, well, we call them liquor sickles here in the South. And the reason we call them liquor sickles is because when you've tangled with the bottle and then you decide to drive and you lose your license, you downgrade to one of these. Yeah, so they're fun at the beach. They're going to be not very fast. It's a 49cc engine in there, roaring with a 4.2 liter fuel capacity in the tank. That's it. It's pretty small, small engine. It's not a powerhouse. They're just something to kick around with. So plans for this is I want to get it running. A friend of mine actually gave it to me. Same guy gave me that tractor up there. So a friend of mine called me up. Well, here, watch the video.
Hey James, didn't know if you had use for the scooter or not. Maybe even you could use it for parts. It's got, disc brakes in the front. I've had this thing for probably 5 years. It is maybe longer than that. It's always had run great. I've had it down at the beach. I've had it over. My son had it when he lived in Pine Wild. Zipped around. It ran great. I left it out here one night and it rained and it never started since. I do have the plastics for it. It does try to start. But there you go.
Yeah, so that's what I was told about the vehicle, the trike, the bike, the whatever it is. And I went to pick it up, and I got to be honest, the first thing that worried me was that's the exhaust right there. Boop. My pinky won't go in the exhaust. It's that tiny. So apparently he thinks that maybe the carburetor needs some work. He said he's not sure why. He said he put a brand new carburetor on it. He said, but the brand new carburetor is $12, so maybe that's the problem. So anyways, I think this is where the VIN is. We're going to open up. I think this is where the battery is. Somebody left the key in the on position, so the battery, she no good no more. We ordered a new carburetor for it. We ordered a new ignition coil for it. We ordered a new spark plug for it. We ordered a new high-performance exhaust system for it. We ordered a intake for it, a new wiring harness. We ordered all those things, and yeah, it didn't quite hit $100, including shipping. So cheap, easy to work on, we think. We're just going to play with it, see what we get. Ideally, when it's done, I would like to paint it in the Gulf Livery colors, because Gulf Livery is my favorite. If you look around my office just a little bit, you're probably going to notice that I've got a thing for the Gulf orange and blue livery colors. Some of my favorite stuff to collect. Oh yeah, don't forget about the can down there. 5-gallon Gulf. And those are just my spare golf cars that I've got doubles of in the collection. The orange and the blue, picture of a scooter here. There you go. See, isn't that nice? Now, my scooter is not quite as cool as that scooter, but we're going to see what we can do with it. And we're just going to have some fun with it. Eventually, we're just going to throw it on the back of the camper, and when we go to the beach, it goes with us. And when we go to Charleston, it goes with us. And it'll just be something fun to get around and scooch around, and people think we drink too much, and that's okay. We're having fun. So let's get into this project. It is, of course, the MVP, which in product production. World stands for minimum viable product. Yeah. And it's made by the Boom International Holdings USA, who imported it. I have the BD50QT-2A, which is, you can see, the entry-level model. It's fun. I've been reading through. Thank you for purchasing of this motorcycle. Yep. So, which is produced with advanced technologies. It will bring you a joyful and safe riding. The English language was not their first language. It's just a lot of fun. I'll show you some things in here I really appreciate. Okay, so we're at the do as follows for safe ride. And we go down here to number 6. Do not ride after drinking or taking medicine. That's really kind of the purpose of these things, actually, in this country. Maybe not the country they're made in. Number 7 is forbid the immature to ride the motorcycle. Oh, but I wanted to ride the motorcycle. Oh, well. So, this type of motorcycle is suitable to ride on planar roads. Planar? Maybe plain? Riding on wet roads is very dangerous. Forbid turning during acceleration and keep safe distance with the front vehicles. Remember, the braking distance in rain is twice that of sunny days. Pay special attention to traffic signs. Yeah, it's still a lot of fun. Oh, the other thing in here is, hang on, I gotta find it. All right, so the inspection objective. So this is under inspection. So they're very, very high standards on the particular MVP that I have. Very, very high standards. So for tires, we want to make sure we got correct pressure. Sounds reasonable. Suitable figure depth. So we're going to go over here. And I'm guessing these are the figures. And they're suitable depthness, I believe. And then the last thing we want to check is that there's no cutting. We don't want to cut our wheels. So the fuel, you want to make sure there's enough gasoline to ride the planned distance.
Duh.
I don't know. And engine oil, just make sure there's enough. Not to the fill line or the low line. Or not too technical. We just want to make sure it's got enough. And in case you're wondering, was it really made in China? Yeah. I think it was really made in China. I hope my O'Reilly's has that brake liquid. I have to check that out. Well, here, caution. The cover of the dry battery mustn't be removed. So, well, let's start with that. Because, well, why would I follow these instructions? They're written by a 4-year-old, I swear. That looks like a self-tapper sheetrock kind of screw. Oh, this has been into. Somebody's been in here before. Look at that. Or it just came off the line like that. That's possible too. We got. There we go. Wow. Before the first time used or when the battery volume is below 12.5 volts. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. Oh, and look, there's a fuse. We got to check out we got to check this fuse here because. The only thing that works up here was the horn. The lights don't come on. The blinkers don't work. That's right. We got blinkers. Nothing worked. The dash lights didn't come on. Yeah, it's got dash lights. It's a pretty nice unit right here. The start button did work when you turn the key on, but the battery is now flat, so no starty. So let's put a little charge into this thing here. What do we got? It's 12 volt. There you go. Come here, Mr. Forklift. You are required. So we're going to boost this thing off with the forklift and put a little charge in it so we can turn this. I want you guys to see before I even start anything. The starter does engage. The thing turns over. If I spray starting fluid into the carburetor, it actually does run on starting fluid. It just won't pull gas. It's a Superstar Premium. So put that on there. Let's see if we got any juice here. All right, let's get a little starting fluid. All right, we're gonna spray a little starting fluid up here. in that air box. You can hear it try to kick there a little bit. It's trying. It's just getting no fuel. So let's get into it a little deeper, shall we? I might have flooded it with the starting fluid too. So here's where the air box is, and it goes back in here, and the little tiny carburetor that's about the size of a, I don't know, pretty small, is back in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the seat up. We're going to take this box out of here. We're going to get access to the top of the engine from there, and I don't know if you can see what's going on there. A little tiny carburetor. Let's see what we can come up with. It's got a kickstart on it here too. It's a what does that say? Beadio. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. There's the serial number on the engine. It is a 49cc. This is good. Dual rear coilovers. Wow, impressive. So this thing here, what happens is when you're turning it over, this is your what controls the gas coming out of the fuel tank, which is up here, and it comes down through the filter, which is right here, and then it comes up into here, and then it goes from here down to the carburetor. Normally you'd have like a little, on a motorcycle, a little on-off kind of thing for fuel flow. This one's actually vacuum driven, so on the back of it, it's got another line, and what happens is when you start it, it pulls vacuum, or when you try to start it, it's pulling vacuum, which then is supposed to open this. So I've been playing around a little bit, and I took this hose off here, which is all cracked and brittle, by the way. I don't think the fuel lines are great. And what's happening is, the fuel is to here, so the tank and the filter, nothing's plugged. It'll drip out of here if you take this off, but it doesn't go through here and into here, so it's not allowing any gas down to the carburetor. So I think that this air line here is either cracked and letting air in and not pulling hard enough on this, or this needs to be changed. Oh yeah, by the way, I got a 2-pack of these. That was included in the less than $100 parts. So look at that heat shield. Woo-hoo! I feel safe now. All right, so let's go ahead and rip into this thing a little bit, shall we? Unlock the seat. All right, let's get in here. That carburetor box, packaging. There's the cover for the air box. There's the filter for the air box. We've got some spare gas lines in here. We've got this. This is the control module. We got a new one of those as well. There's the original carburetor. Massive, right? Yep, I wonder if my pinky goes in there. Okay, my pinky will actually go in there. So it's slightly larger than the exhaust. So we ordered a new one of these. This is the original. There's a replacement already on it. I don't know if you can see it down here. Probably have to take out some screws. There's a replacement down there. But we're going to take this whole box out of here, lift it out so we can get right to the engine. And oh, look at that. It came with a screwdriver. Isn't that nice? We're going to go ahead and we're going to take the... get this out of the way. We're going to get the current carburetor off. We've got a brand new one. We're going to put all the new parts on it that we've got. Throw that to it. Here's where the gas goes in. Yeah, half a tank. So that's 2.1 liters of fuel in there. So we're going to go ahead and take all this apart, get all this out of here. Let's see what we're working with. All right, cool. So like 4 screws and all the body panels come off of this thing here, right down here to the floorboards. So you can see battery cables are coming in here. Kind of really open this thing up a lot. Real great accessibility, easy to work on. I wonder what that is. Don't know. Just a little rubber mount that holds up the back fender, it looks like. So let's get our coil out of here. Let's change up some things. That's right, she's about to go under the knife. So, looks like this is the old coil over here. Because that's where our spark plug wire's coming off of. And this must be, not sure what that is yet. We'll figure it out. So we're going to start down here. We're going to disconnect the throttle cable. which just wraps around here. It's got a little lock on the end of it. So we'll disconnect the throttle cable, and then we are going to disconnect the input here. Take this hose clamp off, get these 2 bolts out, disconnect these, and these lines here too are questionable about the connections. And I mean, if it's trying to pull vacuums through this line to open up for the petcock over here, well, it's a good chance that it's leaking air through there. It's kind of brittle. So let's just get rid of some of the oldness. Let's start by loosening these guys off. 10 millimeter, which is probably what most of the stuff is on this vehicle. We've got an electrical connection here too, and it goes up. Oh, look at that. That's a Wonder Bread tie right there. That's not even a zip tie or nothing. Wow, look at the wires on this thing. It's huge. So we can unplug this, get this out of here, and then let's see if this will come off of here. Oh, we got to get this. Where's this go up? We got one more. And that's a different kind of clamp, so I wonder if somebody else has been monkeying in here before. Actually, I know somebody has. This is not the original carburetor, so somebody else has been monkeying in here. So that one came off that side. We got some studs in the block there, okay? So that's the old, and I don't think there was anything wrong with that. The carburetor just came with the new one, so we'll put that to the side. And then this guy here, we need to twist him off the back where the airbox was. I'm going to put the camera down. 2 hands on this one. Alright, I might have to break out the old debit card and order a new one of these too. This is the air line that goes from the airbox down there into the back of the carburetor here. And it's pretty dry, and it's tough. So it took a lot of prying to get it off the carburetor. It's kind of like no pliabilities to it left. This is the gas line that comes down, and when I lower it below the fuel tank, it drips. So little trick, you want to take the screw that was part of the battery cover hold down, and you put her in there like that. There you go, and that'll stop your gas leak there. So now we're going to go around and we'll pinch this line out back here so gas doesn't continue. So maybe it was flooding because it's just letting fuel through all the time. Who knows? But the carburetor, oh wait, we got one more thing to disconnect here on the bottom. Not one more line. So let's disconnect that and get that out of here. Clean up the spilt fuel. You guys notice this? There's my finger for reference size. That's the starter. Yeah. I've had RC cars with bigger engines in them. So yeah, that's the starter, and it does connect to the solenoid up here, and then here's our coil. So let's go ahead and get the coil off. Get in here and cut this factory zip tie. It wasn't a bread tie like the other one. Let's see. We've got our wiring harness here, so that can stay like it is. And then we want to pull out down here spark plug wire, pull it off. Yep. Pretty dry, brittle there too. So there's the spark plug that was in it. Alright. Actually doesn't look too bad at all. We're going to put him aside because we do have a new one. And looks like we have to we're going to leave him on there. Let me make sure the new boot goes on. It's got this threaded piece that you can take off, and then you end up with just those threads there. But I'm not sure what this boot is designed to accept. So we're going to take the boot, and will the spark plug go on it? I need to look up inside there before I break something. I can't really see though. Yeah, I think the whole spark plug goes in, and then this plugs in down here. So you might ask yourself, with a spark plug like this, how do you check gap? Make sure it's properly gapped. A very specific way to do it. You throw it in the engine and hope that they did a good job at the factory. I mean, why wouldn't they? Remember how I was going to turn this around for the wiring? Well, the spark plug lead wire's not long enough, so we're going back like factory original. We put the bolt through there, slide that in there like that, and then it's going to bolt back on there. And I mean, it just looks nicer, doesn't it? Looks cooler. It's orange. I love orange. Kind of clashing with the red up here, but I don't know. All in all, it's pretty sporty, doesn't it? So there we go. That's fastened in. We're going to swing the wiring harness back up here from wherever it has gone. Up like this. All right, back around through here. Okay, all right, we got it now. That really worries me about the green to black and black to green thing. I don't know what they were thinking there. Come on. Tricky to do this stuff one-handed. Okay, so we are going to go back just like we found it. We're going to put the green on the black. I just did it, you know, commonsensical way there for a second. And we're going to put the black on the green. Wow, that's really just kind of, see that? It just comes on and off a little too easy. I'm going to grab a pair of pliers and just pinch that down, put a little more friction on that. I don't like that, literally just falls off on its own. I just rerouted this wire here behind these wires, and that gave me a little bit more play in this. And that there, I had to get a screwdriver and pry that on. I went with the high performance ignition system. This coil is actually a little bit bigger around than the original one, so the boot doesn't want to go on it, but we made it work. Okay, ignition system module should be pretty simple. The new one did not come with this little belt that goes around it, and the little belt is what holds it in place, so we're going to have to save that. And look, it's got a hook on the top and a hook on the bottom. We're going to turn around so we can use the hook that hasn't been used before yet, because it you can tell it's obviously not as worn. This one's kind of sloppy. This one will fit on here better, so we'll use him. Let's see. Oh, only open on one end. Oh, well, okay, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. We got it. We got it. Come on, James. That'll slide in there like that, and then the new ignition module will slide in here. And then this is just a matter of unplug and plug in. Again, so the problem with, you know, going with the high performance parts is this is just a little bit wider this way and this way, boop, than the other one. So I don't know if I'll be able to get this little belt attachment back on there, but here's what we're basically going to do. New carburetor goes in. Here's the new intake manifold. Comes around, clips on here like this, sits down on the studs. We connect the back, this hose here, to the back of there. Goes back to the air breather. We put a throttle cable in here. It came with a new fuel filter that's in line that this one didn't have before. The fuel line came right off the Peacock down. There was a fuel filter before the Peacock, but now one after, so now we'll have one in both places. Comes with a new wiring harness, new orange plug here, and look, they even gave me a new bread tie. So Wonder Bread and these things must be made in the same factory someplace. But anyway, so that I can rewire it all. And this hose here has got, like, I think that's a heat shield on it. I've got to get that off because the carburetor came with a new hose attached for that, which is good because that hose looked fairly brittle. And then this little part here, I thought on the old carburetor was somebody cut it or broken off or something, but apparently that is maybe a breather of some sort. That is how they come, because the new one is set up the same way. So I'm just going to get in here. I got to do a lot of two-hand stuff. I'm going to block the view of the camera, but I will put this in and let you know how it works out. I'm noticing putting the intake manifold on here that there is a vacuum port on this side and not one on this side. And the one I took off had a vacuum port on both sides. The difference is there was only one vacuum line to hook up. It's actually this one here. There was no vacuum line on the side to hook up. So I hadn't noticed it, but that was a vacuum leak. So that would have caused it to run not so great too. I think what happened is it stopped running. My buddy tried putting a carburetor on it and it didn't keep running. I don't know if he put it on, he had a friend put it on, I don't know. Somebody put it on. I think he said his son rode this thing for a while, so somebody put it on. So I'm just wondering, maybe that was part of the problem. There was a vacuum line there that was not required because there is no... Oh, wait, I lied. Here we go, we got a vacuum line over here. That was on there, and that went up to... Well, it kind of looks like it goes up into the... It goes up into this canister here. So now we got to figure out what that is. So I might need to go get a T. Either that, or I might just reuse this old intake because frankly, it doesn't look a whole lot different than the old intake. Still got an O-ring in there. Maybe I'll pop the O-ring out of the new one, put it in that one and just reuse. Yeah, that O-ring's definitely got a little bit more fit to it. So maybe I'll do that. That could be what the problem is too. I don't know. Just digging. Okay, old air intake manifold is on. I used the new clamp and I pulled the O-ring out of that one, put it in here, so we've got a brand new O-ring in here, because the other one, the O-ring was completely flat and probably not making any kind of seal, so that would have been a vacuum leak as well. So let's put this guy on. Go like that, and then put one. Uh-oh. Well, that's gone forever. Yep. Alright. So, I know what I'm doing in the next 30 minutes of my lifetime. I'm looking for that stupid nut. Alright. Alright, on the other side of the bike now. Went ahead and put this hose here, the airbox hose, back on the back of the carburetor. That guy popped out of the airbox. Pro tip, don't let that guy pop out of the airbox. Had to take the hose back off the carburetor, take the airbox off, and it was everything I could do to get that thing back reinserted to that thing. It's got a flange on it that goes in and then locks. When the hose is as stiff as that is and as brittle, it's just hard to do without ruining everything. So all back together. Now we're going to jump back up here where we had started. I realized that had popped out of here when I got over here, and so I had to take the whole thing apart. So here we are 20 minutes later, but that's bright again. Another 8mm here. Take him off of there. So the other thing we want to remember is we want to change out all these gas lines, including this one here. It goes from here into the tank. So it's pretty brittle. It just looks dried and brittle. It doesn't look great. So we've got new gas line, but this is nice. Latex, I like that. That cool looking gas line there, right there. It's the right color too. And it comes with the Chinese guarantee of, I can't read that. But anyways, I like it better than the rubber line that's on here. When we disconnect this line here, we are going to have fuel spillage from here to here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the whole thing pre-done and have it sitting here and just waiting to flip it over before I pull that line off. And you know, I just want to have the new line ready with a hose clamp on already. Pull it up, pop the new one on. Minimal spillage on the shop floor here. Vacuum line hooked into the back of the petcock. Fuel line goes out into the carburetor. Inline filter. Fuel line coming in. Inline filter. That's the new fuel line. Goes up there. So I've got to take this one off. Try not to lose 2.1 liters of fuel on the floor while I plug this one in. Get that little clamp up on there. And we should have fuel delivery at that point. We should have spark. We should actually have, I'm just looking here at my spare parts, and I've only got one of those left. That was a 2-for-1 pack, so it looks like all the parts are in. Old parts are over there on the ground, discarded. I put my bread tie back on, and other than that, I think she's factory again. Alright, so let's see. Make sure I got this all routed the right way. I do. Boy, they give a guy no space to get his hand up in there, and that gas line is rotten. That's part of the problem right there. Does it have a fuel gauge? I think that's a sender unit for the fuel gauge. Wow! Tell you what, fancy Chinese. Yeah, so the hose is going to rip on me, I'm afraid. And then it'll still be on there, and I won't be able to get the new one on, because the old one will still be there, but it'll still be, you know, gushing gasoline out of here. Glad it's a small fuel tank as it is at this point. Zero accessibility is up in here. Oh, there it goes. Yep. And of course, my fuel line fell down in here. Hope I didn't get you guys with that. Gas squirting everywhere. Oh, yeah. You'd think maybe somebody who built this had smaller fingers than I do. I don't know. Let me try this again here. Get the hose clamp out of the way. My hands are nice and clean. That's an upside. First stop is definitely going to be the gas station because we are now running low. We stopped the bleeding, doctor. We stopped the bleeding. That is on there. Let me get my little clamp on here. It's going to matter as tight as that hose is, but I'll put it back to factory specs best way we can. Wow. Your fingers are smaller than vice grips or needle nose pliers. That's hard to believe. How did they get in here? Bet you that fuel line's already on the gas tank when they dropped the gas tank in here. Of course, I didn't think of that. Alright, there we go. I think that's it. I think we've changed all the parts we had. We just hook the battery back up to it and fire it up, and then let's get some color on this thing. So I'm bathed in gasoline now. It's good solvent cleaner right there, yeah. So, yeah, see, it's way up in there. You got the shocks, and you got the frame support, and you've got the fender support and the gas tank support, and yeah, it's way up in there. How did I get my hands up in there? I don't know. I just don't know. But it's connected. Alright, so once again, we've got the Yale over here sharing its life's blood with the Wing Ting no-go fast machine. And so we turn this on here. Let's see what we get. Well, we got nothing. So, what I'm noticing though is I've got fuel coming through this filter here. I can see it chugging in there. But I got no fuel here, which tells me this thing's not opening. Which means maybe I don't have enough suction through the vacuum lines here to open that up. Let's spray a little starting fluid in there and see if it fires up when we bypass fuel delivery system. Shall we? See if that gives us a little kick. Alright, so you go. That fired up. So we have a problem with fuel getting from petcock to the carburetor. Let's look at that. Okay, so let's pull this fuel line off. Did any fuel try to get through the petcock at all? Oh, come on. No. So, let's and nada. So we're not getting any. Let's see if we got fuel on this side of it. We have fuel from the fuel tank coming into here. It's getting stopped right here. It's not progressing the way it needs to progress. So, could be a bad petcock, maybe. I don't know. It's not pulling enough vacuum from down here. Maybe. Is that vacuum line rotten? Is this piece of leftover gas line long enough to... Yes. Let's put a new piece of line on there and see if the line is the problem. Okay, so I changed this line out here, put a piece of that fuel line on there. Let's see if that pulls any vacuum. What are we doing here? Clutch. Starter. Engage. Alright, so now we're getting fuel. Took a while to build pressure though, didn't it? Let's see if that's enough. Put him on there. A little clamp, which I think is useless at this point because the hose is so tight. But we'll put them on there anyways. I ran out of handy-dandy little Chinese clamps. I have to go get some from O'Reilly's. Let's see now if we got fuel delivery. I'm seeing fuel in this filter now. That's a positive sign. So we got fuel getting past the petcock. So we had a vacuum problem with that hose, which could have been part of the original problem with this thing too. I'm going to cut that hose a little smaller when I figure out what exactly it needs, but dig a little deeper. Okay, so I just checked the fuse, the one fuse it has. And this nice little fuse holder, got a spare right beside it there. So, but anyways, I'm starting to wonder if I'm not getting any power to the electric choke, which is what I believe this is here. I don't know. Looking a little deeper, checking out my connections. I don't see any other fuses anywhere in the vehicle, and I don't have, let's see, turned on. I don't have a horn. I don't have headlights. Ooh, look at that. The gas gauge works. So I got fuel gauge. I got that. There's my headlight switch. Let's see. Got no regular beams. No beamage at all. I feel like we might not be getting, well, we're getting spark because when I put starter fluid in there, it does kick off. So we're getting spark. I'm feeling like it's a choke problem at this point. Okay, put my fingers over the air inlet, fired it, she runs. So I've got a choke issue going on here. I don't know if I need to check this. I think this is my choke module here. I think. And check my wiring and see what's going on here. But it appears like I've got a choke issue because when I choke off the air to the, in here, the air box, it fires up and runs. And it's funny because the rear tire is spinning, you know, like this, like it wants to drive forward. And yet the bike's trying to move backwards. It's vibrating backwards. Let me see if I can set up the camera and show you. All right, so I'm going to choke off the air here. Pull the clutch. Push the starter. There's a lot of going on in here. Boy, I'm getting a lot of fuel running back out that way. Why is my gasoline running out the back end of this thing? See that? That's just fuel dripping back. Alright, so it's pulling tons of fuel, but it's literally just leaking out the back end down here. So the fuel is getting pulled through, but it's not going into, and I don't have all the parts hooked up to the airbox yet. Maybe I got to do that. Alright, let's try this one more time here. Alright, so it obviously runs. Doing a burnout here with the back tire. I guess I need to adjust the kickstand because the kickstand's down, but both front and back wheels are still sitting on the ground. I don't know if that's supposed to lift the wheel off the ground or what the deal is there. But it is trying to take off on me. I'm holding on to it. So, we're going to find out about that. The other thing we're going to find out about is why it won't start on its own without me choking this back here. So little more time and effort needs to go into this, but it's a Saturday. That's all I got is time and effort. Something I've noticed is they do have a seal that goes all the way around this thing here, like a gasket, and then you've got this filter that blocks in it, and it just might be that I'm letting way too much air into the system, and when I put my fingers over that's reducing the amount of air in there, so it's very possible it's got something to do with that. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back together, as it were, see if that makes any difference in the way that this thing runs. And obviously that's really going to restrict how much air gets into the system, other than, you know, the whole box being wide open. So it's going to help cut down a lot. Also, there's this, I guess a vacuum line of some sort goes in here, and it's not currently connected to the air line where it's supposed to be. I don't know if that's having any kind of adverse effect on it. So I'm just going to put it back together. I don't know until I try to see if that makes a difference. So obviously it started right away that time. So airbox being closed might have something to do with that, but it won't rev. Throttle cable is connected. So I feel like we're kind of back where we started here, except now it starts, but now it won't stay running. So something else I did determine is I had the headlight switch on when it was running. All the headlights come on, the side markers, everything comes on. So apparently they don't draw power from the battery, just from the alternator, wherever that might be, whatever kind of witchcraftery they use to recharge the battery. I think they take a line right from that, and that's what powers the electronics on the bike. So figuring that out, so we're just figuring one thing out at a time over here, and you know, we got a little bit of time left in the day here to figure out some more, but she's starting. Didn't do that before, so it's not fixed, but it's better. Alright, it's just sitting here on its own running. I took the electric choke off one of the old carburetors, put it on the new carburetor. She seems to work. I don't think they're real precision made parts, just my guess, but I think I got one that wasn't great. So she's running right now. The idle seems a little high. I'm going to try to turn that down just a little bit. But I'm going to let it run for a while and just, you know, hasn't run in 6 months maybe, I don't know. I'm not quite sure how long. But just gonna let it run for a second here, charge up the battery and what have you, and I don't know. Is it fixed? I don't know. It's different. It's running. It starts. It runs. I don't know. Be interested to put a load on it and see if, you know, it can move me around the parking lot. So I'll let it sit and run for a while and go grab some lunch. And choke just closed? Open? No, wait. Computer reprogramming? No, I don't think so. Don't know. Well, let's sit and run for a while. I need to cut the back of the exhaust up. Get some flow, you know, engines and air pump, right? Let's get some flow out of there. Let's see how that works. That sounds better already. Okay, so I want to pull all the plastic off this thing and paint it blue and orange, as I said earlier, the Gulf livery colors. So I think what I'm going to do is anything that was black, my MVP sides, this little piece here, this up here, the front fender, and the rear tail piece here. I think all that'll go to the blue, and then anything that was silver will go to the orange. So this will be kind of a cool looking piece done in orange, right? And then the little stripe under there will be orange, and then this will be orange up here, and this will be orange in here, up and around where the lights are, and then we'll do the little, you know, protect your fingers from flying birds or whatever handles. We'll do that in orange, and I think that'll give it a nice little punch. So that's how we're going to do it. So I'm going to start taking all the pieces apart. I'll pull the decals off the MVPs because I don't want people thinking I'm driving an MVP and happy about it. I want them to think I'm driving a Gulf something. And we'll put a Gulf logo right here, of course. That'll go in there. And then we'll do a similar thing on the side. We'll do something kind of cool. And, you know, Gulf Life. We'll leave that black pad and the innards and this, because all these pieces that get, you know, touched on, stepped on, handle grips, all those pieces, you don't want to paint those because the paint will come off. So we're only looking at painting the body panels. We will paint this one here because I don't want it to be a tremendous amount of black through it. I want to give it some color. So that'll of course become the blue because it's currently black. So anything that's black becomes blue. We'll take the front fender off. That's going to look pretty cool, done as blue, and then with the orange right up above here, I think that's going to look pretty nice. So I'm just going to start pulling it apart and seeing what we come up with. Well, there she is. Yeah, the dark truth, the underbelly of a Chinese scooter. If you're driving one of these for safety, well, there's your front bumper right there. It's about the width of my hand, and that would be your roll bar. So the leaf foliage out of there. Yeah, so that's it. A little bit more wiring than I thought there would be. The ignition switch here. This little module down here, that's probably your OBS computer. That I think is your blinker unit for your turn signals. Sockets for your headlights. Yeah, brake master. Boop boop. So that's her in all her glory. That's Chinese scooter. And this is all the stuff that makes her pretty. Alright, time for a second coat on the orange pieces. All those pieces are sitting out here in the last few hours of sunshine we've got today. Everything's been second coated. Couple of little runs, but not too bad. Not too bad. I love how vibrant these colors are. So can't wait to get them back on the bike, and that'll be tomorrow night. Okay, pretty happy with how all the panels came out. And we were talking about a free moped here. We were talking about spray paint, and I just love how vibrant the color is. So obviously this and the orange together, I love that color combination. So right now it's time to assemble. We got a tail light put in here, like that. I've got a license plate bracket put in here, like that. I've got tail lights go back here. I've got side marker lights. So let's just go ahead and start putting this thing together. Apologize for that noise in the background. It's raining here. Wow. So, inside here, on the driver's side, because, you know, orange wire, And then I realized, yeah, both sides of the driver's side. But I knew what I meant. I meant the left side. You know, face forward. Right side if you're looking at, you know what I mean. That little makeshift wiring harness goes through there. Of course, everything's got 2 wires because it's plastic. So nothing actually grounds to anything. So there's got to be 2 wires run to everything. That looks better. That goes in there like that. Wonderful. Turn this over. The 8mm nut goes on the other side of it. Blue goes on the passenger side. It's like they knew what this was destined for. Look at those wires. They're orange and blue. It's orange and blue. It's like it knew. We got the rain on the roof. We got a carpenter in the wood shop next door running a sander. All kinds of distractions in the audio today. Put the tail light bulb in there, the brake lights. Now let's see, this here, up through here, so the orange goes to the orange, and then the black goes to this one. This is a double connector, so put the black in from that side, and then let's see, we're going to bring up the wires from this side, and the black goes in the other side of that double, and then there's the blue down there. Make it fairly simple, they really do. The only thing is you just got to make sure you get your oranges and blues on your driver's and your passenger sides. Already chipped my paint. That'd be easy to mask off and just respray. I'll do that tonight before I go home. But there, you can start to see the orange and the blue coming together there. I believe that goes like that. Let's get a couple of the screws. There we go.
It looks like a praying mantis.
Looks like a praying mantis?
Yes, it looks like those are the eyes, and when you stuck that through, it looked like its mouth and its tongue.
Peg here, and they line up with these 2 posts. It's on there like that. Okay. And then it was a matter of getting the dashboard to lock into that. This locks into here. That goes in there like that. This part here, of course, has all these little tabs on it. And the tabs are designed to lay down into these things. And then they push back in place like that. And then there's your body line. So we need to get the other side on. Just remember, folks, if you're going down the road, you see somebody on a little scooter like this, these parts literally snap together like Tupperware. Give a guy a break. Give him some space. Don't run him off the road. Be kind. He's, you know, in a bad situation. Safety-wise, I would say. For those of you following along, you're going to put those nuts and bolts in before you put your headlights back in currently. As well. They block the access somehow. It's for entertainment only, by the way. It's not a how-to show. It's a this is how I did it show. And that's not always the fastest way. And could we edit that out? Sure we could. But will we?
No.
So the 3 tabs only go in one way. And I guess that's the backing lines up the right way. And then we'll see what happens. Well, I believe we have tail lights. I believe we got a driver's side blinker and we have a passenger side blinker. That's pretty cool. We got a horn. Because when I got it, the high beams didn't work, the horn didn't work. This whole thing here had a lot of moisture in it one time. It was all corroded. And I just kept spraying it down with dielectric cleaner. And just to get the corrosion out of there and everything else. And just gotta be patient with it. Spray it in there one time. It's not fixed. Just give it a minute. Come around. Come back the next day. It's not fixed yet, but after 2 or 3 days of spraying that in there, everything freed right up and then it just started working. Sometimes don't be the first guy to run out and buy the new parts. Sometimes the old parts are just fine. They just need a little cleaning. Well, I don't think the lights come on until she's running. And she's needing a little starter fluid still. They've not figured out 100% my choke, or as they call them on these things, an exciter, which is not very exciting, but that's what they call it. So it made me work for it. So these guys here on the side like that, they just literally lock in like that. Now this goes to the front. This is where the battery sits in. This piece goes down on there. That basically builds our floor, and then has the orange stripe that comes up the side, ties it all back together. So one thing I do remember about this piece is the battery's got to come out for this piece to go in. Literally, this thing just pops together. Let me say it one more time, like Tupperware. It's crazy. Got a battery up in there. Okay, so a screw's going to come through here and into here. And then this, and this are 3 tabs that'll line up with these 3 guys here. It's not that, and there's another screw up at the top there. Look at that. See how nice that went in? Guys, I never worked so hard to get an exhaust system on a bike before in my life. I've also never put an exhaust system on a bike. This bolt's in. This bolt down here is in. The 2 studs are connected up. But now look at where the flange is. It's in the way of the dipstick for the oil. And I know standards aren't high. How much do you need to have on the checklist? Does anybody remember? Enough. That's it. So if you've watched the video this far, comment enough, and then I'll know that you're still watching. And we're going to figure out what to do with this thing here. So I think we're just going to take the old, that guy, whack there with a block of wood and get him to bend over a little bit. All it'll do is just pull this in a little bit tighter, which isn't going to bother anything. But I'm going to do that real quick so I can get my oil dipstick back in there properly. So I can make sure I've got, word of the day, enough. And then we'll put the exhaust on. Let's take it for a rip. Of course, now it rains. Alright guys, this wraps up the moped project. It's all done. Pretty excited about how it turned out. Something cool, shop art. And we'll take it on the back of the camper when we go camping. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, comment on it. Say what you liked about it. And if you got ideas for other projects, check out the channel. Maybe I've covered it already. I've got a million projects on the burners going here, so we're gonna keep on rolling. Go back and check out the gas pump video. It's the one I put up before. There's a link down here over there. I'll put a link so you can get to that. Check that video out. Next one coming up is a go-kart on a sign pole up in the air in the shop, kind of reminiscent of a Batmobile that I saw on a sign pole at an auction in Indiana, and it inspired me to, hey, that'd be kind of cool to have in the shop. So that'll be the next video up. Kind of excited about that. And go ahead and hit the notification button so you get notified when that one's coming. I appreciate your support. Appreciate you guys being here. I love doing these projects, and I hope you enjoy watching.